Hi everybody, this video is to show you how you can manage a Pear Deck while you're in a Google Meet so that you can have asynchronous interaction with the Pear Deck while you're interacting with your students on Google Meet. So to explain this to you, I've got a Google Meet already going on this screen over here, on this tab over here. I'm the only person in the meeting right now, that's why you only see me, but if my students were with me, you would see them as well. In this tab over here, I have the slideshow that I'm going to start in Pear Deck. So let me start that lesson. And I'm going to click Instructor Paste Activity. Just ignore that one because I have another session going, but you wouldn't normally see that. Now, when you launch your Pear Deck to launch your lesson, you're going to see that a second window has opened. I know it's an independent window because I can pick it up and move it around on my screen. Whereas the other screen that I'm seeing is my presentation window. You might notice that up here in the tab where it says the name of my slide, instead of it being a little pear, it's a little pear inside a gray box. That gray box indicates that I'm in presentation mode now for my students, which is perfect. That's what I want to see. So I'm going to take my teacher dashboard though, and I'm going to move it over to the side. And it will snap into place so that I can have a split screen. Now, I don't know that I need so much space for it, so I can just move it over a little. But now I've got two completely independent windows running on my computer, which is exactly what I want. I don't want to show my students this side of my screen. I want that to be private so that I can see their names attached to whatever it is that they're doing, but they don't see it. Over here, though, is what I do want my students to see. So right now, I would be presenting this screen to my students so that they could see the join code. Now, how do I do that? I have to present in Google Meet. So let's go back into the Google Meet. So everything I've shown you up until now, I would do before my students join me. And I'm going to click Present Now, but I'm going to choose from Present Now, I'm going to choose a Chrome tab. This is a new addition to Google Meet so that you can share just one thing at a time with your class without showing them things you don't want to show them. So click a Chrome tab and it'll ask you which one is it that you want to show. And remember I said there was the pear with the little gray box around it? That's the one that I want. And there it is right there as well. So I want to share that tab. And now I can see if I go over into my Google Meet, I can see it says that I'm presenting to everyone. So what I've done is I've just added in another student into my classroom so that you can see what the students would be seeing. The students would be seeing this screen and they can see that I am showing this right now. And if I go back into my lesson, this is what I'm seeing on my screen. I just wanted to show you that this was in fact presenting to the students. So once I'm happy and getting ready to start, I can start my lesson. To start my lesson, I can either close this or I can go over into the teacher dashboard where I click Close Join Code. Remember, if the students cannot see this side of the screen, this is only for me. So again, I can see what's coming up. I can see my next slides, but if I go over to see what my students can see, all they're seeing is what I'm presenting over here on this side. Okay, so I'm ready to start my lesson. So I keep this one over here and I click the arrow to go to the next slide. Now over here, you can see it says waiting for responses. That's because nobody has interacted with my slide yet. I've asked them to tell us something that you are grateful for this morning. And I'm going to go over on my computer and pretend I'm a student so that you can see what it looks like when the students write. So while I'm waiting for responses from the students, I can discuss what's on this slide. So the slide that I'm seeing over here is what's being presented to the students, but over here I can see that I haven't gotten any responses from anyone yet. Since I'm pretending to be a student on my other computer, I can type in an answer and you can see, this is me actually pretending to be my son Elliot Joseph. You can see that I'm grateful for that my computer is working. And that's what it looks like for me. No one over here can see what Elliot has written. I'm keeping it private. So if I want to, I can interact over at the side here and say, good job, Elliot, thank you for answering, without interfering with anybody else. And I can see if other people have not responded. I can also respond to each one of those independently. If I want my students to see what other students are writing, because this is supposed to be also an interactive experience, then I'm going to come over into the student screen and click Show Responses. Now the students will see this. Let me just flip over so you can see. This is what they will be seeing. Here I am in my Google Meet, and they're going to see. Now notice that Elliot's name doesn't show up here. It's still private. I see it over in the teacher dashboard, but the students don't see it over in the presentation. And that's what you want. So if you want to show the responses to the whole class after a number of kids have had a chance to do it, then you can show responses. You can also click Hide Responses at the same time. It will not hide it from you over here in the teacher dashboard, but it will hide it from the rest of the students. And you simply continue through. Go to your next slide. This is a written response again. So I'm asking my students to go through all of the work that they had due, and then did they have any questions? So if they had a question, they'd be able to say, yes, when is math, or what is the new, oh, lots of typos, the new math unit. And you can see over here, I can see it, but again, the students can't see it unless I click Show Responses. If I click Show Responses, then the other students will get to see it as well. If you click it, it just highlights in yellow. It doesn't do anything. It still doesn't show who wrote it. So this is how you're going to be able to present your Pear Deck on one tab of one of your windows, and also keep the teacher dashboard open on the other side. And so at the end of the lesson, I'm going to go in and I'm going to make sure that my Pear Deck has been switched over to Student Paste, and I will copy and paste that link into my Google Classroom. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you're enjoying using Pear Deck.